Hello, my name is Rye, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're all having another fantabulous day, and all that good stuff. I'm having a really good day. It's been good so far. It feels great outside. I'm excited for spring coming. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone! So I hope that you're all having all the best Valentine's experiences that you can possibly have. And if you don't have a Valentine's, well, that's okay. Because you know what? We don't all need one right now. And I'm sure that what's best is coming. Just be patient. We all get, or we'll get what we need. But anyway, enough with that. Let's go ahead and get into the first card with Slither King, being the last, or this being the last video going over Set 1's Legend cards, and also the last video going over Set 1 as a whole. I'm really excited. I'm not sure if I should make an additional video just going over basic stuff like, oh yeah, this card's this rarity, this card's that rarity, this is that, or whatever, just to have that information out there. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do all that just yet, but we'll figure it out when it comes up. So as far as I know for right now, this is the last video in this series at least, going over Set 1's cards. And then the next, we'll be going over Mini Set 1, so that's exciting. Anyway. So, this card is Slither King, obviously. Slither King is a 4/5 Dark Beast-type Legend card. To play it, you need one active Price 2 or more Water or Dark Beast monster. And it has True Strike. So let's go over everything step by step. So it's a 4/5. 4 power, 5 armor. Pretty good stats, nothing super crazy, but it is really solid, and if you're able to play it with a Price 2 card, you're able to get it out as early as turn 2, so a turn 2 4/5 with True Strike is pretty good. Again, it's not anything crazy or game-breaking, but it's really solid. But it's a Dark Beast type, which is just, it's a little underwhelming. Dark has always been a slightly lackluster in the sense of supported types. It's never gotten a huge amount of support. And then Beast type has definitely gotten more, but as of Set 1, you pretty much only have Call of the Beast, which is not great, but it's okay. But yeah, so that's the typing and the stats, and then the summoning requirements needing one Price 2 or more monster in play. That is either Water Beast or Dark Beast type. Well, that leaves you with, in Set 1, exactly 2 cards. You know, not a whole lot of variety, and neither of those cards are necessarily crazy, and sadly, neither of them are Price 2. They're both Price 3, so you wouldn't even be able to get it out as early as Price 2 without something like a 1-up. So, you know, you're most likely getting out on on turn 3. But at least this card, for the most part, is a direct upgrade of both of the other cards. So it's not like you're summoning it just to be like, the last one gave me more value. Because this one pretty much is just a direct upgrade of both of the other cards. And let's go over those cards real quick. The 2 cards being, here it is, Swamp Serpent, which is a Price 2 2/2 Water Beast type with Victory due to Burn, so a little underwhelming for a Price 3, and the effect is just okay. So it's not a great card, but the other card, which I think is a slightly better option, to be honest, where is it? Somewhere around here. There you are. I got scared for a second, Blubbertooth. Blubbertooth, Price 3 2/4 Water Beast type with no effect. Yes, this thing has no effect, so it's less than Swamp Serpent, you know, because no effect is almost always worse than having one, even if it's not a great effect. But it does fulfill the requirements. It's Price 2 or higher, it's Price 3, and it's a Water Beast type. And its stats, it's a 2/4 as opposed to the 2/2 of Swamp Serpent. Those are actually pretty phenomenal stats for price 3, but that's mainly just because it doesn't have an effect. So, you know, it's not bad, it's not great, but I personally prefer using this card to play Slither King than the thematically correct option in Swamp Serpent. But yeah, Blubbertooth is pretty solid, it's not bad, and you only need to run like 1 or 2 copies to see, or to be able to play the card every once in a while, you know? So it's not bad. And what do you get out of this? 4/5 with True Strike. On its own, it doesn't look super impressive, but in comparison to the cards used to make it, it is a direct upgrade, I would say. True Strike in this case works very similarly to Swamp Serpent's Victory effect of doing 2 burn damage. And this card has really good stats, especially in comparison to the other 2, being a 4/5, which is really good. And sadly, that's about all there is to really say about it. There's not a whole lot to go over with this card. It's really nothing crazy. It's not a bad card, and I definitely consider running it, especially if you have nothing better to play, and also especially because the cards need to make it are not exactly hard to get your hands on. Both Swamp Serpent and Blubbertooth are not, like I said, they're not very hard to find. I'm pretty sure Blubbertooth is a common. I don't remember what Swamp Serpent is, but I highly doubt that it's a rare. I don't think it's very hard to get either. So yeah, just throwing 1 or 2, or if you really want to, a whole play set of 1 or of either of the cards or whatever to be able to play Slither King pretty frequently is fine. And it's definitely going to be helpful. But like I said, it's just nothing crazy or super impressive necessarily. It's just not bad. But yeah, so that's Slither King. And the next card, and the last card for this video, since I don't know why I went over Grieving Rager in the last video, but I did. So now we only have 2 for this one. So, you know, that's there. That's probably why this video is going to be so much shorter, but I'll try to increase the time a little bit. But anyway, Stormbringer. At least this card has a lot more to go over. But before we really get into Stormbringer, if you would, for me, pause for just a moment to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that stuff. Hit that bell or whatever. Do all the YouTube stuff, because that stuff really does help motivate me to continue going, and helps me in the long run, because without y'all's support, then I'll only be able to do this for so long and do so much with it. So the more support you give, the more I can give back. So yeah. Anyway, back to the important stuff. Stormbringer. Stormbringer is a 1/1 air elemental. So, you know, a little lackluster so far. 1/1's pretty unimpressive stat-wise. Air, outside of this very card and Whirlwind of Restoration, is fairly unsupported. And Elemental is incredibly unsupported. It is completely unsupported in set 1. Let's see what you need to play it. It kind of has the same treatment as Razor Tater, in the sense of it needs 1 active air monster or 2-handed air monsters. It's just, instead of potatoes like Razor Tater, it's air monsters, air types. So yeah, you either need 1 air monster in play or 2 in hand, and you're able to play this thing. So fairly versatile and fairly low on points. There's not even any point requirement on this like Slither King has or anything. So yeah, pretty easy to play. And let's get into what you get when it is actually in play. Start up Quick Summon 1 Whirlwind of Restoration. That's really, really strong. Let me show you why. Let me show you... Actually, where is Whirlwind of Restoration? Forgive me. It is somewhere around here, I know that for sure. Oh, forgot that it was this low. Whirlwind of Frustration is a price 2 field card that gives air card, or that says air cards gain +1/+1 in speed. So +1 power and armor, and speed, which just gives them an additional attack that doesn't temper them. Yeah, that's that. It's pretty great, honestly. Besides for the price too, so it's a little expensive, it's really good with the buffs that it gives. And Stormbringer cheats it out. Yeah. It cheats it out for free from the deck. It has to be in the deck. It cannot play it from the hand because it doesn't specify where, so it's assumed to be from the deck. But you still get it out for free. And so this is functionally a 2/2 with speed on top of whatever else it has, which we'll go over next. Your handed air monster's price is reduced by 2. It only affects yours, so there's no worry about buffing the opponents. And it reduces their price by 2. That is huge. Like, seriously, that's a massive amount of difference. That's incredibly powerful. This card already has a huge amount of potential. And then the last part of the effect, active. It can attack the turn that it's summoned. Looky there, it's functionally a 2/2 with active and speed. That's great. It's functionally a more impressive pet page when it comes to offenses. That's honestly huge. It has a huge amount of potential. And on its own, you could, if you have the right starting hand, get this out on turn 1 and potentially for free, because you can do it with cards in your hand, and be able to immediately deal 4 damage. Because it becomes a 2/2, and it has active, so it can immediately attack for 2 damage. And it's a 2/2 because of Whirlwind of Restoration, and then also because of Whirlwind of Restoration has speed, so it has an additional attack on top of that, so that's 4 damage on turn 1. It's not like game-breaking necessarily or anything, but it's really good. So yeah, that's Stormbringer for you. And yet in set 1, this card is pretty much unplayable. Yeah. Pretty much unplayable. If I were you right now and I knew as much as I do about the game, I would be saying, what? No way! How? You literally just spent the entire past however long it's been just blabbing about how great this card is and how many phenomenal qualities it has. How's this card not good? In set 1, and this is the reason why, in set 1, there's exactly 1 air monster. Night Diver. This is the only one. Nope, I'm not wrong. This is the only one. BMO is a dark type. And this is before I had the phenomenal idea of having cards be multiple types by putting it in the effect. Something along the lines of this card is considered air type or whatever, or is also considered air type, I mean. So BMO is just a dark type. So all you got is the price for Night Diver. Yeah, that's it. And because this is literally your only main deck option, then this strategy is kind of unplayable because it doesn't really do anything. Night Diver is a price for 3/3 air beast type with victory due to burn to 1 target. It's not necessarily a horrible card, it's just underwhelming, but that's your only card. It's the only one. So because of that, Stormbringer doesn't really have much to talk about either in set 1. But because this video is only going to be going over 2 cards, I'm going to break the rules a little bit. And I'm going to go over stuff that isn't out yet. Well, as of the time of making this video, it is already out, but in the timeline of me, or of the series of me, going over these videos, I have not gone over this stuff yet. But I'm going to cheat a little bit, and technically I should wait until I get into stuff like mini set 1 and even set 2 before really going over this. But because this video is already so short, I'm just gonna go ahead and go over this now, and you know, because I already have plenty to go over with the next videos. This card has a ton of potential, and all it needs is a bit of support, and you know what Mini Set 1 does? Exactly that. It gives a ton of support. Let's look at it. So, Mini Set 1 releases the first 10 cards released for Set 2 early. It releases them in Mini Set 1. So those first 10 cards being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this card to here, to this card, World Watcher. World Watcher to Divine Works. And out of these cards, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these 10 cards are great support for Stormbringer. So Stormbringer literally went from nothing to a really powerful strategy just with the release of Mini Set 1. Let's go over each of those cards real quick. Those cards being World Watcher, Ori Blast, Elemental Burst, and Divine Works. I'll be going over first World Watcher and Elemental Blast first, and then I'll go over Ori Blast and Divine Works next because they go together. World Watcher is a price 0 Air Elemental 0/1. Yep, that's it. That's all there is to it. Price 0, 0/1. No effect. Air Elemental. Nothing else. Before Mini Set 1, Elemental is a horrible typing, and Air, outside of, like I said, Stormbringer, is pretty meh, to be honest. At least as of right now, with Mini Set 1. But all it needs, but all that it matters is that it's price 0 and it's an Air type. That goes amazing with Stormbringer. Let me explain why. This gives you a great starting card. It's a turn 1 option, and it costs 0 points, and you immediately get to play your Stormbringer for free, just for 1 card. That costs 0 points. And then also, once Stormbringer is in play, your World Watchers become price -2, because their price is reduced by 2. You take away 2 from 0, you get -2. Whenever you play a card, you would subtract the points of the card from your current amount of points. Well, when you're subtracting a negative, you're actually adding to what you have. So in this example, let's say you have 0 points or whatever. 0 minus 2 is 2. If you remember back to math classes, how I was taught, when you're subtracting with a negative, then the two negatives, or you can kind of imagine them canceling each other out, and it just becomes plus the negative number. Well, what was a negative number, which is now positive. You just switch it. It's the exact same math, it works the exact same way. Try it out in the calculator. 0 minus 2 is 2. So this functionally gives you 2 points for playing it. So you play this card, you gain 2 points. You can immediately draw a card, or play other stuff, or whatever. You can immediately do all kinds of stuff with that. That's incredibly powerful. That's huge. And you would still have your, if this is turn 1 and you had 2 World Watchers in hand, you play one, discard it to summon Stormbringer, and then play the second one in hand for -2 points, and you just gained 2 points, and you haven't even paid a point yet, so you have 3 points to play with on turn 1. It's really strong. Next card is Elemental Burst. Elemental Burst is a price 1 boost card that says duplicate 1 elemental monster. So this is, to this day, one of the only real pieces of elemental support, but it's a phenomenal one. but it's really only super good when it comes to being used with strong elemental monsters. And what's one of the absolute strongest elemental monsters in the game to this day? Stormbringer. So a pretty good starting play is World Watcher, discard it to summon your Stormbringer, and then pay your 1 point for turn 1 to Elemental Burst it to make a copy of it. Because that's how Duplicate works. Duplicate just means you make a token copy of the card. So you would get a second Whirlwind of Restoration. That's already phenomenal. Your handed air monster's price is reduced by an additional 2, so now it's -4. And because you have 2 Whirlwind of Restorations, they both are now 3/3s with active and speed 2. What do I mean by speed 2? It's because you have 2 speeds. You gain speed twice. Speed just gives you an additional attack on your turn, so you gain 2 additional attacks. So each one is a 3/3 with 3 attacks. Yeah. So, what's 3 times 3? That's 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So, with this, for having 2 specific cards in your hand, being World Watcher and Elemental Burst, and all of this on turn 1, so for 1 point as well, you just did 18 damage to the opponent. If they don't have any creatures in play, so if you're going first and they don't have anything to answer you, you just did 18 damage to them on turn 1 off of 2 specific cards in hand and 1 point. And we're not even done. Let's go over the next 2 cards, because that by itself would probably be enough to make it somewhat playable. Not anything crazy, but playable. But this really pushes it, not necessarily over the edge, but over the edge of playability to the point where now it's a really, really strong strategy. Ori Blast is a price 2, 1/1, air scream type with the effect Ender, so when this card is discarded, Ender, quick summon, so play ignoring the price, quick summon 1 Ori monster. Okay, so what is this 1/1 air type with an Ender effect gonna do? Well, it's gonna do something alright, and that in tandem with Divine Works. Price 1 boost card, which allows you to search 1 Ori monster and reduce their price by 2 for this turn. Oh yeah. So what you would do on turn 1 is, and all you need is this 1 card in hand, you pay your 1 point per turn to search out Ori Blast and reduce its price by 2. Ori Blast is a price 2 card, so it becomes price 0. So you're able to immediately play it. And then you would discard it to summon Stormbringer. Its Ender effect would activate because it's being discarded. It allows you to quick summon an Ori monster. So what, are you going to quick summon another Ori Blast? No. There's something even better you can do. Let's look at some of the other Ori monsters. In particular, Ori Drown. Ori Drown, the main reason why you'd be playing it, in spite of it not even being an air type, is because of the fact that it's an Ori monster, so you can quick summon it with Ori Blast, and the startup effect. Startup, search 1 Ori monster from deck or ground zone. Oh yeah. So Ori Blast is discarded, you would search out Ori Drown, well, not even search out, you would quick summon it from deck, so you wouldn't want it in hand because it wouldn't work in hand. It has to be from the deck. Same thing with quick summoning the Whirlwind of Restoration with Stormbringer. It doesn't specify from where, so it's assumed to be in the deck. So you would quick summon an Ori Drown. Its start effect would activate, allowing you to search an Ori monster from deck, or in this case the ground zone, aka the discard pile. and you'd search out that exact copy of Ori Blast. And because you now have a Stormbringer in play, you'd be able to play it for free. And it becomes a 2/2 with speed. So let's get this straight. So you'd have Stormbringer in play with a Whirlwind of Restoration, an Ori Blast, and an Ori Drown, all on turn 1 for 1 point, just off of having one specific card in hand. If you didn't mulligan, you have 6 other cards in hand to do whatever you want with. This is huge. Yeah, so AKA, this has a lot of potential. And for many set 1, Stormbringer becomes a really strong strategy, and through some unintentional additional support that was given in set 2, it was actually good enough for me to decide to ban it. I hate to say it, but it's true. And it's one of my favorite legend cards, sadly, but that's just how things go sometimes. But anyway, that's Stormbringer, and that's about all that I have to go over for this video. Thanks for watching for this long, and if you did, why not type in the comments below Stormbringer OP? I think that would be fun. Anyway, again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have a blessed day and a fantastic Valentine's Day. Or if you're watching this on a different day, a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. And fare thee well.